You hit the table.
You don't have to change.
How are we going to speak from?
No, it said no to speak
Change
shop.
word, change word, that's something else. So like to read it one. So. I mean, I'd like you to read it after the things, I guess. Let's read it after and remove that part. It's still.
Wait, is everyone ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Can we just start?
Yeah, let's just start. Fix that.
Yeah, I'll grab that.
No, I do. I just
Somewhere.
document is sent to the chain line. You got it. I gotta go. Yep.
Somaliland is the ultimate privatized state. Its search for sovereignty is a search for economic security to further advantage its ruling class. Row 3. Behind nation building, one finds hidden interest and independence was a result of a formation of elite separation from motivation, limits on state power, and the interest of dominating traders and the case of institutions of the parallel market economy is completely regulated. The national elite no longer competes with southern rivals. They exert great leverage over the government. The role of the state guarantees protection, sovereignty, and security for economic actors. The recognized state as a fundraiser, not institutionalized at all. Power meant to be marginal. Somaliland is thus completely privatized. Political class favors its clients, and the most important role is the maintain an unequal market. The economic tycoons build a state whose power is easy to control. A small part of society that captures the state, not the opposite. The act incorporates Somaliland into an international order built on racist and imperialist assumptions that serve the power of capital, whose successes propagate violent intervention and massive equality. Primary team. Considering detailed examples of actual practice of local financial thinking as legitimating ideology rather than effective explanatory frame, the LAO's style-based elitists and with racial imperial assumptions, the impossibility of the U.S. embracing a more diverse order, accepting global South strategic necessity, but remains problematic of the racialized discourse of Western power class power explains embrace of foreign leads the source of the change, liberal success of the people qualified, considering the repercussions of developing societies marked by economic inequality, unrest, and repression. Capitalism's bad. A. Violence. Capitalism escalates compounding climate and military crisis and make distinction notable. Handle Observer 23. Capitalism fuels climate change results in elevating profit over all of the range span and control markets producing commodities for sale for the market rather than politics concentrating total power among elites, flying on the military cuts for each other, that migration sets up violent competition among people desperate for resources. Wars have been thought to secure oil without changes in appetites for profit. The system will continue to place an infinite burden on the finite planet. The ethics. Capitalism undermines the foundation of ethical life by reducing individuals' commodities to be exploited as the tools of production. Word Bridge 98. Capitalism is an obligation of democracy undermines the foundation of moral life and exercises sympathy. This counters our self-interest to understand feelings to share ethics, rise in the face of the other. Everything becomes an object for expansion of production. Nothing is valuable. So if we care about life, we have to want to be governed by care of feeding us on the food industry. Farms becoming important and caring for sick people. These activities single-mindedly accumulation with the end of capitalism on the table. Ethics on the seat. C turns K. Extraction and debt trapping is the root cause of incivility in Africa. Turns every firm scenario. Al-Hinho 23. Political instability is a symptom of the globalization. African economies are attracted to depend on transports. 20% of capital is owned by foreigners, that leads to extreme inequality and instability. Political decolonization then translates to economic decolonization. The premise that the liberalization would bring democracies and improve among discussion about democracy in Africa, supported by Western anthropology. Colonists find setting capitalism demands weak governance, self-feeding cycle of instability. First surgery coups took place during overproduction. Globalization provides coups and those facilities borrowing from destructive governments and legitimizes the ways to use coercive power to stay out take lots of common sites. Voting for a democratic centralist model of communism provides accountability, practice, and endurance of the unified national party who for past failures. Let's go on to 18. Base building of the foreign party organizing economic planning amidst the most oppressed and marginalized economies without the offer base building response to this by building institutions with people's needs. We demonstrate communists can offer relief from horrific conditions of capitalist democratic centralist decision making, great methods for holding members accountable, unifying action on democratically determined goals and educating members in communist theory and practice organizations which develop party model focus on propaganda surrounding the need for a revolutionary socialism. The party is not simply a group of individuals, but a formal organization unified fighting against capitalist democratic centralist model allows for a unified strategy to emerge from democratic consensus and organize to be held accountable for actions within the U.S. economy as crucial as the movement operates within colonial society and imperial society. All frequently affects leftists and organizing, creating unity and party proceduralizes who address these problems. The party model remains most useful for achieving these ends. Base building is not pursuing a cooperative economy alongside capitalism, but a revolutionary socialist strategy capable of fighting capitalism. The role of the ballot is to vote for the team who best advances counter-hegemonic struggle against capitalism. We must actualize anti-capitalist futures today and experiment with alternatives in debate, forming new mental conceptions of the future and paths to achieve them. Only our method combating capitalist inertia in every instance can solve. Satirists 14. Transformations to counter-hegemonic contextual course struggles with universities articulating resistance is not enough. We need to think in a more radical way. Dual power within universities, experimenting with attempts to make university antagonistic to dominant entrepreneurial model, offering concrete examples of this way. Contemporary movements become sites for new socialist perspective. Think of socialism as constant experimentation. We should not wait. These must be seen as learning processes. We need new militant research, theoretical research, and collaboration. The most important aspect of mass movements is emphasis on debate and discussions. We need new theoretical production within movements on us to organize culture in the same way we seek to organize practical activity. These practices create conditions of counter-hegemony, producing concrete utopias cannot be a responsibility of leaderships. People that weren't during movements forced to think of alternatives. Cut the card there.
Where was the card cut? Sorry.
Alternatives. People are forced to think of alternatives. Flex, there weren't any warrants saying that we had to refund second restructuring, correct?
Nope.
No warrants. All right, cool.
Do you want me to set up a new one?
So you mind?
Or actually, I don't think anybody's gonna need it this time.
Yeah.
You're good. Okay, got it. Let me know. Is there any way you can send this as a Word doc?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I'll leave Alexia read the docs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sends a word too.
Thank you. Okay, I got it. There we go. Thank you so much. I don't have access. It's fine.
Go back to the Word doc.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm not trying to delay the round, but I did do that and then try to open it. Select it, give it access. I think that still doesn't open, so I'm just gonna go off.
Yeah, alright, sorry about that.
No, you're totally fine. That's not on you.
Everyone's ready. My time will start now. We've heard Siemens Rams, the global RAM shortage jeopardizing climate goals, day 24. Significant action demand for rare earths and now the speed of supply shortage cases, essentially supplying the high demands north of the asphalt, small and abundant the most crucial realms, lack connection, holding back the money average 24. Small margin hidden gem, the potential of rare earths covering 85% is territory of the high school within the states where green energy revolution discovered potential too small and too major competitive with the market challenging dominant players like China right now, potential crisis of investment infrastructure and recognized as complicated but international investments on scaling and funding for large scale product impacts, pending climate change, small increase in lithium production offsets carbon emission X20. For every single ton of lithium using batteries, we replace 109,000 tons of CO2 and active action rates 23 instead every 1.1 degree warming causes 100 million deaths. Moreover, climate change doesn't cause extinction factor 19. Last week, the IC binge droughts could be some point of global feedback with deadly conditions, complex of resource culminating nuclear war, and the result is to end human civilization see to its governance. Small and from the violence of that cost 24 cents, the election of the recognition, small independence, real electric guys when we're around these strategies. Small and barely divides, took small nationalism, fuel tension in the region, local recognition, small, domestic challenges, small, survivor wars, domestic 21 France, 2 wars, 1. Formalizing independence from the market should lead to the mind of the government of dramatic percentage basically leads in ability to mediate the specter of federal states seeking atomic action jolt and lead from the absorption of political battles, second small nationalism, long range source of tension, independent small undermining the identity by making a realization more likely to keep maintaining small power and legitimacy. I reckon you have improved solace in Models 21. Recognition has been defined as the feature state in Iraq and Yemen. International recognition is a way of getting right to represent population leaders, gaining legitimacy in the domestic constitute by claiming the support of the international players and absent action violence cascades. Careless 23. Escalating further on the loss and represents the danger of stability of Horn Africa, growing the violence, making a risk of war, and igniting a wider clan confrontation and stability, because of great power involvement. Element 24. Public withdrawal the Red Seas, which is the water since we secured the U.S., China, EU have military presence in Iran and Russia, and the free region as a battlefield and disrupting trade and reviving ships, great power war goes nuclear atomic 18. Ongoing nuclear very high China's intertwined with the conventional military, making difficult attack one attacking the other U.S. military campaign, targeting China's conventional forces, starting China's leader to use nuclear weapons, so they're still ability nuclear force to generate pressure to escalate more over withdrawal and cause the extinction by 23. A great power acts and misunderstandings could cause escalate tensions, causing leaders to fight out and negotiate what nuclear weapons would be used to make famine, causing winter, reducing resilience to reach extinction levels, see through trafficking. Breaking comments make the Horn of Africa trafficking cover now costing about 24. Number of migrants from the Horn of Africa has tripled in recent years, increasing in human trafficking guys to 17 months, and many migrants have become stranded and exploited in transit countries. Moreover, with the rise in steady in recent years and the reaching place of triple war and a source of transit destination for victims of human trafficking, traffickers, smugglers, smuggling women to destinations in West Asia, and lack recognition of Somalian and technical assistance and intelligence sharing to be a hub of enforcement right now. Chapter 11. Non-recognition in Somaliland stands outside the mechanism of regulating the flows of people and Somaliland provides a national departure for trafficking people to the Arabian Peninsula. Somaliland is not a membership of Interpol and mechanism for tracing criminals and crossing controlling cross-national crime and avoid stepping into terrorist criminal networks assisting trafficking people. Also 23. Equals coming human trafficking, rescuing victims, raising awareness, identifying victims, and disrupting trafficking networks, and people recognizing these facilitate interstate cooperation, and 100 million people in Africa and modern slavery. So, people actively enhance the capacity of stakeholders in Africa, including security governments and rural sectors. The impact of intergenerational trauma is only 17 fines. Symptoms depression and PTSD reported at 78% of women survivors. Sea force logs. Red Sea insurgencies posing imminent risks to logs are now 724. Red Sea is a major artillery cables connecting Europe to West Asia, Africa. Choking point is at risk right now, and Houthis threats against cables conducting all regions of the world and recognizing Somaliland's naval seizing axis Robert 10. A recognition will allow Somalia to strengthen the accountability of governments in regions that are piracy-infected institutions follow the illicit flows of money without international support and legislation. Piracy, filled vast and accounts can be seized. Moreover, countries are waiting for the EU where they recognize Somaliland. Scores 21. The EU can be the prosecutor of Somalia stands the AU's legitimacy to actually issue authoritatively in the eyes of the international community and independently enables Israel cooperation. Film in 24. Israel set base in Somaliland to attack the Houthis group recognized Somalia as an independent state, enhancing the national security location in the Horn of Africa. Tends to strategic importance situated at the entrance of the straits and the Red Sea focal point to Houthi attacks in the area. Slogs collapse, fuels nuclear miscalculation, and preemptive strikes. Log 16. Lost communication from Minsk can be catastrophic, unable to decode messages. The aggressor can use coordinated attacks on cables to cut sensitive information, prevent nuclear armed opponent from monitoring the weapons. Country targeted can initiate a preemptive strike. Cross-X, Emily and Claire from C2 and Great Power drawing from instability and Great Power war causing extinction.
Right across. Yeah.
Want to stand up or just sit?
I guess that sounds good. Can I take the first question?
Sure.
Okay, starting on REMs, who physically does the mining of the REMs?
Different like private organizations.
Okay, so it's private organizations. Who does the mining? Who gets the profit?
We'd say that it's like mostly machines doing the mining.
Really?
Yeah.
So machines do all the art. Can you point me to where your evidence says it's machines that do? the
Well,
mining?
you asked me like a question across, and like a specific piece of evidence, but
You
until
also
you read-
haven't read it. Oh, wait.
Yeah, no,
Oh, you've read
yeah.
it first?
No, I'll just answer the question. Until you get a counter piece of evidence saying that like it won't be machines, we'll just default to machines. That's what's historically been seen in this area.
Historically, we've seen mining being done by machines, not people.
For REM specifically, correct.
Okay,
Because
you have
it's
a
an easy, because it's a much easier process for specifically lithium.
Okay, you have a question.
Sure, let's go on to the cap there. The alt is just vote neg for the democratic model of communication, accountability, praxis, and endurance to fight
The
capitalism.
democratic centralist model, that's a party-oriented strategy to pursue anti-capitalist.
Could you
positions.
explain that in like terms for like a third grader?
Okay, we have a couple reasons why the party model is the best model through which to fight capitalism.
What's the party
First,
model? Start off
The
with that.
party model, we
Yeah.
form a political party, we call it the Communist Party of the United States, or the Communist Party of Somalia. or
How
the
long does that
Communist Party
take to form an?
How long does that
entire
take? I think you have to fill out some paperwork. So that once you fill out the paperwork, you start building a democratic base. So you recruit members, you provide social services around your local community, just like how the Black Panthers providing free school lunches in Oakland.
Sure.
This enables them to immediately help the proletariat, not
Okay.
just waiting for the party
What's
to
the
form,
proletariat?
but also to recruit people of the proletariat, the working class,
Okay.
to help people to turn people to their side. That eventually builds up to a stronger party that's able to lead in a protracted people's war.
So the time frame on it's very long.
We say the time frame. We say the time frame of endorsing it is now. Like our argument isn't just like that you solve the capitalism. Our argument is specifically that you should be preferring
Yeah,
this
but
model
your-
like capitalism
Wait, but
as
your,
opposed to your model. and
but
just
your
being
alt
capitalist.
is dependent on the fact that the sole model we are using is the model you talk about. So if the sole model we're using is not fully the one you talk about, how are we solving for the issues you talk about?
The point of the alt is to solve for the links.
Correct. But if we just went on time frame then, that if we don't affirm now, it's like try or die, then don't we win the argument because extinctions of prerequisite?
I think we'll make arguments that your embrace of capitalism means it's impossible for you to really solve for your impacts, but I like to.
Why? And so like, for example, talk about human trafficking, like,
Yeah.
how is capitalism affecting our ability to solve for human trafficking? For example, Interpol specifically.
It's a thing that people profit from.
How is
It's a thing that-
Interpol's a nonprofit, basically.
Interpol's a nonprofit, but the reason trafficking is able to exist is because ultimately, I mean, I hate to say, like, there's this kind of like supply and demand dynamic to it, which creates a lot of issues. And
Wait,
that
but if
ultimately comes from a
Interpol
lot
has
of, like,
historically-
assumptions about how we
Briefly, if
interact
we
with
win,
this.
Interpol's historically solved for human trafficking in areas where capitalism was fueled, do we win the case and then like win the time frame?
I would doubt it. I would also argue that the trafficking argument doesn't make much sense, given that traffickers would just move to other locations. That's cross.
Cool. Okay.
We're gonna take some time.
Okay, sounds good.
We can just pull more cards out from it if we want.
Love the art topic.
Okay, 33.
Got 33.
33.
Alright, sounds good.
Welcome to that.
Okay.
Actually, 1 second. That was great. So 36. Okay, cool. Y'all have it?
Not yet, no. Here, 1 sec before we start. Do you mind if I mute our Google chats? I don't want to like have any interference.
Yeah, sure.
This-
I'm just gonna. Yeah, so how do I mute them without?
Click the three dots and click mute. No, wrong three dots, right, here. Mute.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Let me know whatever.
Any new sheet?
I received the doc.
It's just down the app.
Okay, ready to go.
There might be an always no. On REMS, one laundry list of issues for REM mining within 3-4. Dwelling mining has been hampering several challenges with regulatory framework, specialized mining, geology, geophysics, and engineering, high expectations lead to complex environmental and health concerns. 2. Capitals have put us on the brink of Kyle and collapse. They're believing green capital solutions proven by their exploitation of Somaliland's minerals fail to challenge the system, instead reinvesting in the emissions and mirroring the feedback loops of warming. These countries least responsible for greening the crisis are the ones that made the most responsible for solutions. Just called 23. Financial solutions ineffective in the face of imminent typical solutions focused on accumulation of sustainable capitals invested in carbon intensive sectors. Responses have led to more risky behaviors opposed to tangible solutions. Outcomes are solutions that favor poor countries which concern the climate crisis that give reparations, green Keynesian solutions. Peripheral countries engage in mitigation despite only minimal amount of emissions. Climate violence is not only enacted through activities that cause climate change, it's perpetuated through market-based solutions. Strategies that fail to challenge endless capital accumulation solutions will be bound by the need to extract surplus value. Continue to debate green capitalism and surplus, but climate violence solutions for climate racial capitalism mirror the feedback loops intensifying physical causes of climate change and result in further emissions. One that's a case turn to their argument because it would mean that the sort of mining that they are doing, the attempts that they are making to solve capitalism or to solve climate change are like always backfire. B, it is also a link to our next. Renewables fail, mining, transportation, price, and appearance. Choose 23. Demand for energy and population outstrips renewable acceptable technology. Fossil fuel dependent mining and transportation are problematic. Infrastructure works out generation costs zero electricity economy. Substitute for FF despite uptake CO2 is still increasing the world less below class warming limits. Map means the only solution is decoupling governance. One argument of governance is also linked. Capitalism and democracy are fundamentally at odds over human equality and under neoliberalism. Capitalism trumps democracy. Miracles for 14. Capitalism and democracy follow different logics. Unequal property on the one hand equals political rights on the other. Majority decision making versus the hierarchical decision making by managers. Capitalism is not democratic. Democracy is not capitalist. Capitalism since the 1980s to be broken by precarious compromise inequalities, risen transforming to political inequality. Third, most countries societies have retreated from the political participation. Less preferences are less represented. Deregulated, globalized markets, and the ability for democratic governance government there too. Somaliland will negotiate in Paris Free Belt. 24. Somaliland said there's no room for mediation unless Alabama cancel the deal with Somaliland. The government, they comment after the AU called out the two countries to engage in dialogue toward peace. Somaliland says the sovereignty, territorial integrity violated. 3. Turkey succeeded in mediation, needs peace now. A de-escalation solved. Like 24. Turkey resolved the tensions between Ethiopia and Somaliland. The Somaliland need to break through the agreement, reduce the threat of military conflict. 5 or 4. Full recognition leads Somalia to invade Somaliland, and there's no risk of their Ethiopia. Or actually, skip that. We'll also say that they've conceded the Al-Guido evidence, which takes out all of their arguments because it says that the reason why there's instability in Africa in the first place is because of things like capitalism, which cause people to profit off of more poverty, etc., which causes people to turn to things like terrorism trafficking. One, capitalism makes trafficking inevitable and cannot check back only the outsold. Verse 23. Organized crime flushes off poverty. The market owners try to increase profit by getting labor, providing cartels, people victim due to conditions of extreme misery in the poorest corners. Crime said the international scope of the implication of imperialist nations is not the only interest to pursue trafficking. Politicians and capitalists have connections to trafficking to avoid any accountability. The bourgeois state one fundamental role to protect private property legally or not. The only way is to overthrow capitalism. Poverty makes people vulnerable. Then. Recognition is key to enable foreign basing in Somaliland. For example, 24, the Gulf of Aden has made it neighbor Djibouti basin hubs for foreign military bases. China, France, US, Japan, and US all have facilities. Somaliland will struggle to build these relationships without recognition. That thumps their argument because the US is the biggest foreign baser that allows for things like trafficking. Also, insofar as they've conceded that, or insofar as we have won that the reason that trafficking happens is because of capitalism, many people will always just move to different areas outside the Gulf. Close. One, counter piracy is imperial intervention. Pirates challenge North the private property. The capitalism holds sacrosanct and thus must be destroyed by empire. Polo 13. 30 free trade, though constructed as an alternative to war, as they serve as primary base for intervention. The World Bank reject pirate as an absolute enemy. The expression of piracy has been presented as a linear tale of civilization and constituent part of history. Cut for there. 2. Basing camp solved. These are too advanced and mobile. Johnson and an expensive campaign of whack-a-mole. Houthis are more mobile supplied by Iran. The US isn't enough to shoot down drones and missiles. Navy suppliers are looking to older, cheaper attributes while keeping the high missiles as possible for war with China. Next. Skip that part, but affirming drives them to seek recognition through America. Grammar 22. Somaliland lobby the US to create independence. They're doing that around Africa and their home region get what they want locally. That's bad because otherwise they will use the US.
Just mark, please.
Oh. Sorry, I'm gonna have to tag on my son.
You read grammar?
Me?
You read grammar?
What does that say?
AU drives them to America.
No. Yeah, but I didn't read this.
I'll let you know when you get it.
Wait for my thought.
Oh, that's great. That's the right one.
No, it's not saying.
Oh, I got the initial though.
Pull up the stuff from the, RM round, Jackson.
I don't know if to, which stuff we are. You want to see?
The way.
The one on.
Let me know when you don't get it.
I just got it.
Okay.
Let me just take a look.
Starting back.
What?
That was 28 seconds.
Cool. What's the order?
Order will be roll of the ballot. Let me get the drop one first. Roll of the ballot, 2 off, case, Kerbs, K.
Wait. Firms are on the alt, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. 2 off. Does anyone, hey, Jackson, do you have enough?
I give so much favor.
Okay.
So my school. I'll leave that from you or?
Oh, I should probably send doc.
So wait. How many off?
2.
Jackson, do you think? Alright.
Do you have enough?
Nice.
Then you go on this chain,
Should we
roll
go
the
on
ballot, so roll the ballot. 2 off. K firms.
Yeah.
Case last.
No, terms that K is last.
Sounds good.
Cool.
There's also a chance I don't get everything.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
get this much stuff. Roll the ballot first, though.
Yeah.
We'll let you know when we get the. Word doc. right?
Okay, I got it. Let me download it.
Check if the Word doc works for his.
Oh yeah, I
Nope.
think it as a Word doc.
It also doesn't work?
Wait. I can try moving it.
Does the Word doc work for everyone else? I want to make sure.
It probably does.
Okay.
I think it's just for the image.
Okay, I'll just send a PDF then.
Wait, I'm gonna try to get this word done.
Okay, cool. If it doesn't work, I'll send a PDF. No.
Okay,
You want me to try PDF or?
yeah, or I can just read off Jackson's.
Okay.
Briefly, like on the theory stuff, it won't be verbatim off the doc, like everything, like you might add stuff in.
Okay.
So be careful with that.
Yep.
Alright, we good?
Everyone good? First is the role of determines the desirability of red. Fiat is good position debaters and judges voted buddy social critics well positioning debaters anything more than a game. The key 97. The leader should understand themselves as social critics and practical politics will hold up a formal policy making position. All grow up with criticism, debate differs. Criticism, debate is a game. Criticism is not restricted to official criticism as a prerequisite of policy. Specified agent makes ignoring the possibility one need not influence agenda. This is what the US should do underground, and the judges are far removed from deliberation and heresy. Plans to utopian and attitude structure underground and practical distinction makes no difference for decades. Debaters use fiat or should promote radical changes. Students right to talk about public policy is about making policy. Develops advocacy and research skills. 2K. Debate right for preparation. Research is a competition catalyst and to write great depth of understanding how many topics do in-depth research on the UN or Iraq. The competitive nature of debate present emphasis makes a good advocates. The topic USFG should spur activism in college was into use to rally people with some sort of movement. Theory is not a perfect. Any other role of the ballot is completely self-serving and only solves for them, and their role of the ballot doesn't allow for testing against racism and only allows the deconstructing capitalism, which is definitely a bad thing. On theory, first, allow theory even if the violence can get committed in the constructions of it, worst viewed over, you can't read case. First on the counter plans. A of interpretation negative debaters should be limited to opposing resolution and cannot defend alternative advocacy. Affirmative debaters must defend the resolution and cannot specify certain implementation. B. A violation. Their alt of creating the Communist Party is a specific alternative advocacy to the app. C standards. First, ground cube. With counter plans, the negative team can read an infinite number of advocacies where it's assigned to live in the topic literature. This kills fairness because they have much easier path to the ballot than me. It hurts education because teams can have one kind of ruling for the rest of the career and will have to do anything else. But second is SDA rule following. The official SDA rules say that counter plans are not allowed by the rules have to vote them down and excluded from the activity. They should literally end the round right here and to be an any kind of voting. They should rule the war to Trump because it's a direct violation of the rules. If you break the rules, you should lose the case with literally every rule and debate rules. They fall and they just left from the first speech. I'm going to talk about People can gain advantage of the run of their world, and there's education is no enough problem they can break the rules to their opponents for office, D voters, for companies, your ability to determine where winner developers, no value otherwise. And if they think experience is bad, you should just drop them to be unfair. But second, education is the reason schools fund debate, and it's the only portable skill of debate. Drop the debater. First, no setting, the voting rest of the president in favor of possible and most determine the direction of that committee. Prefer competing interpretations. First, reasonably collapse to competing interpretations by what is interpretation. Second, there's no reason there's no trying to convey because every judge has different, extremely different views on what people ability makes arbitrary judging convention. So you don't know your BS meter. No, guys, first logically should the discuss engaging substance like ignoring I can't conceive the counter interpret of every line around, which forces me to argue for bad terms. The third chilling effect of use of data will get really good at the RBI and make theory to meaning we can never check back abuse. Skip next off. First, perms, you can recognize Somaliland and destroy capitalism by creating parties in other places. But second, you can perm do all non-competitive releases from organizing create parties elsewhere. Third, perm do that, then all first recognize Somaliland and then create anti-capitalist parties in the area. But fourth, perm do the and create policies and then to recognize Somaliland. And then perm double by either method so strong and can resist either the method so strong and can risk recognizing Somaliland and she having us as net benefit of testing their method, or B, their method is strong enough to resist it. Single policy, I think the after means that it definitely can't solve. And the surviving the real world in class anyway, so no solvency. On K proper, first, turn try to capitalism innovative of climate crisis. Lever 21. Humanity bring carbon that it has the advent of agriculture, the illusion of deep growth viability, any reason to believe that there will be a breakthrough before it's too late, come for technological innovation. And second, turn innovation that advocate it's only good under capitalism, alternative Brexit, which ensures confidence. Deuteronomy cuts to 2020. Innovation is always disruptive, changing careers are moving across the country. Material interest in supporting innovations not one that can be easily limited with socialism. Cut the card there. At that point, go to case. Onslaught. They tell you the pirates are imperialists. Only this is contingent on the winning the game. They tell you that the Houthis are too advanced. It doesn't matter. Their evidence doesn't account for Israel cooperation. And finally, it said that it diverts to the U.S. No, there's no implication on why that's bad. We tell you this is a good thing, and you want to stop the Houthis, and this has the biggest impact is an extinction impact.
Cool. We're gonna take prep.
Everything except for respect beyond. I should do something off. Oh, okay. So
Wait, 2:15.
right on cross review are.
Cool. I'm ready.
Okay. You want to have first question since you spoke first?
Sure. Why is God good?
We tell you fiat is good because it allows testing different policies.
Wait, can we not test policies through the alt?
No, we're this
our role of the ballot is contesting your role of the ballot, which just says that we should vote for whichever team best promotes communism.
Wait, that's not our argument. Our argument is that you need to have a counter-hegemonic struggle against things that are oppressive. You can have a question there.
Okay, wait, hold on. Can you explain your role of the ballot then?
Yeah, our argument says that we need to deconstruct these sort of hegemonic assumptions within people's arguments, i.e. when people are endorsing things that lead to mass exploitation, mass violence, etc.
Okay.
We need to deconstruct that, bring that to
Hold on,
light,
hold on. But the tag
expose
is-
that, and work on eliminating it.
Hold on. The tag is against capitalism specifically.
I mean, yeah, like it talks a lot about capitalism.
Okay.
The card is about capitalism. We think it's probably
Does your role of the ballot allow voting down teams who might counter capitalism but like say racist things in the round?
obviously.
How?
Wait, racism is bad. We can make claims that like we have red cards that say that things like racism come primarily from capitalism, but also
Okay. But
what?
like, what if a team just says something that's really bad in the round? Does your role of the ballot allow for them to be voted down?
Yes, because our argument is that you would do something like we have made a claim that says you should like critique the assumptions. Your argument says that we should center the resolution, which means if somebody does something problematic in round, there is no way to give them retribution for that
No,
because
we
you have to vote on the reds.
No, okay, fine. But we tell you the issue with your role of the ballot is that it prioritizes only capitalism at the expense of like, if, for example, somebody advocated a policy that said like you should do the Holocaust, but it also like that is physically impossible
No.
because our argument, right, like Nazi Germany, clearly a far right nation that did things like increase like privatized states, etc. They relied on that to commit genocide, which means that capitalism is the only or getting rid of capitalism is the only solution. And if they said both things, that would be incoherent.
We need to argue that communist states also have done genocides, aka the Soviet Union did a bunch of gulags, and China is currently doing a genocide.
Okay, one, that definitely should have been in your definitely should have been a rebuttal. Well, because you're okay, but also like you should probably have evidence on these claims.
Wait, this is common
Do we
knowledge.
hold
It's
on?
not
Do we
the-
have to read evidence that finds that China did a genocide against the Uyghurs?
Yeah, like it's
Michael,
common knowledge.
Well,
Hold on, do we have to read?
y'all
evidence?
can have a question.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool. Wait, that was my
Oh,
question.
okay, sure. On this fiat good stuff,
Yeah.
is it good to put us in the position of the state even if the state is bad?
We tell you that the only way to do improvements are through gradual methods, which is why you need to go through the state and make the state gradually improve instead of just hoping that one revolutionary movement will succeed when every other revolutionary movement in the world has been co-opted by the state and turned into something bad and a caricature of its former self.
Okay, cool. Jackson, you ready?
Yeah.
But there's no evidence.
Why don't any opposition to like CIs?
There's no.
Okay.
Just yes.
Do you mind saying CIs?
Can we get at least an intro text of
Yeah.
all the CIs?
Yeah. You're reading off.
Yeah.
You know what, I'll just
Thanks, appreciate it. Which part do you think? I think the exact number if he's dead.
We're gonna take one.
Yes.
Okay, those ones.
one beautiful six.
You have 9 left.
Yep.
Yes, okay, it's going to go. Framing K theory.
So roll the ballot.
Yeah, roll the ballot, framing. Red ballot.
Roll the ballot. Playing theory. F.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll about K here, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll wait for K. I'm good.
Yeah, it's not even you.
Yeah, let me
got
talk. Yeah, let me talk to the doc.
Oh, wait, there's a dog. There is a dog for the theory as well. Cool. I'm on it. Okay. You have 4 ways to write your ballot. All go for the negative. First, the role of the ballot is to endorse a counter-hegemonic strategy, which they don't do. And as long as we win the counter-hegemonic strategy, is the thing you have to do, and you have to vote for the negative immediately. They say you should determine the desirability of the resolution. But insofar as we have our role of ballot and warrants as to why you should prefer a counter-hegemonic strategy, this is the only way to challenge the capitalist assumptions which have led to terminal policy failure, because we always just reenact the same policies that determines whether the res is desirable. It is the weighing mechanic under desirability, which means you prefer it here. That's a good reason why our role of ballot is practically conceded. Then they tell you that field is good. It's from 1998. When you see violence is up now, we can't find change under the current system of policy-based education. We have to resort to alternative methods nowadays. Then they say we should it's key for us to have research skills, but we should say we should be researching anti-capitalist and counter-hegemonic strategies. We talk a lot about the university. Then they say that all roundabouts are self-serving, but it's basically a weighing mechanic as to what is the thing you should be weighing in the round. And when they tell you that we don't want anti-racism, we literally argue we should be criticizing the assumptions, specifically the racist assumptions of the affirmative. We obviously account for that. The second way you vote for the negative, they can see the mortgage they can see the mortgage evidence that capitalism undermines ethics. That comes before everything else because it means you can't determine if the rest and their impacts are good or bad under capitalism. Then the third reason you vote for the negative, they can see the Al-Hinho evidence, which is that capitalism is the root cause of all stability and instability in Africa, which their evidence doesn't account for, which means you have to vote for us. Then onto the K proper. They can see that Somaliland is the ultimate privatized state, that the liberal international order is a racist imperialist system. They can see that capitalism is bad because it leads to climate change and militarism, which leads to resource war, and they can see the Al-Hinho evidence, the mortgage evidence, which is also reason to get for us. They tell you that capitalism leads to innovation, but they can see the O'Sullivan evidence, which tells you that green capitalism fails in the long term because it shifts burdens onto developing states. On the perms, they say every link they have is a discount to the perm because it proves that you retrench capitalism by engaging in all the assumptions the affirmative makes. And they also can see the satirist evidence, which is a spike and tells you that we have to reject capitalism in every instance to have a valid opposing strategy.
People take over our movement.
Yes, otherwise capitalist people just always take over the movement. Onto theory.
Explain the warrant for why the link.
They made all these arguments, but when you see the account side around them, the alternative is to engage in the democratic centralist party model of communism, which is the only way in order to build an accurate base that is able to actually challenge capitalist systems long term. Now let's explain why we get the alts. On no alts. One, they concede mortgage says no ethics under cap, resolving cap as a prereq to resolving this ethical issue of theory. Then both proposals of the ballot frame out theory. It doesn't serve counter hedge or prove the desire of the app. That's why both teams agree that theory just isn't a voter. That defense. One, we meet voting neg results in the ultimate as a method of counter hegemony. Two, we meet the ultimate is a counterclaim of an advocacy that proves their assumptions are inevitable. We meet as a generalized solution is allowed by NSA rules. They don't meet. Their interpret says the app must defend just the rest, but they're not defending the perm in the interp as well. On to yes alts. Counter-interpretation, negative teams critiquing the assumptions, methods, or framework of the UNC may offer an alternative. We mean they don't. One, education. The 9K teams all devastates their educational value while framing cards or reasons the anti-capital struggle is necessary within the debate, but the lack of any alternative blocks and believes nothing can be done to prevent mutual change. Then two, fairness. Lack of also creates overwhelming vagueness. It's impossible to engage in that. We have a delineated one. Then roll the ballot arguments, these critiques will also be the only way to have something bad to win, prevents the affirmative from engaging. For all these reasons, negate.
We'll start that now. Pausing prep at 12 seconds, not flex, right?
Sure.
So we made a response to the theory.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's double check. It's 15 seconds total, resuming it. Yes. 142. We have 40 seconds left.
Wait, you want to take more cup that?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So.
Alright, cool. Now we have,
That was 2:15 for me.
yeah,
What did you get?
a 220, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so we have like 10 seconds left.
Let's go. Sorry.
Been bad. Okay. Order will be. Try to make this like simple as possible. We do. Case. Yeah, we'll go. Case theory.
I think 5 more seconds.
On what?
That kind of innovation is never like capitalism, capitalism development, that was 5 more seconds. So the answer to that,
Okay. Sounds good. Order. Case. Theory K. Not timer. Yeah, case theory K.
Oh, that was serious.
Strange. Alright, everyone good? Okay. Time will begin now. Extensive loss of team journey posing the power and who these poses imminent risk of stocks right now. We have 2 links. First, let's money flows because aid recognition trends to go for Israel. Listen, money flows and destroying Houthis and powers and networks connected to Israel. Cooperation can happen after AU recognition is they're going to recognize right after AU does may enable Mason in the region that can solve back for lost communications back, causing attack to do perceived attack, instability causes great power moment due to resources sent for security escalation causing great power drawn dual powers go nuclear because China conventional militaries linking force small states cause escalation through nuclear weapons that can go too cold to go food. At that point, they conceded case this the tree represented their argument for 3 reasons. First, time frame should always figure out because if extinction happens before they're all can actually solve back for the into the capitalism, then we're all gonna be extinct. We can't solve for capitalism in the future. That's considered their last speech and why extinction always come first, but more importantly, our time frame also immediate because the second you affirm we are able to seize assets which cut them off from actually doing anything against blocks. That means your time frame's immediate, so it's try it out for the app and that should come before decay, then go to the perm.
Magnitude.
Also, magnitude should always come first. Extinction, like it's affecting the most people, or capitalism isn't affecting out to extinction, or we win the time frame debate, which is it's going to affect extinction before their argument does, which is conceded. Then also go to perms. Go to perms. Once then perm here, all then the app it's here for policy making. Then they can actually recognize Somaliland, all these above, and the method and the actual plan rather than a big goal. That's conceded. Always say it's a prerequisite, but if you do the alt first, then we're fulfilling like anti-capitalism structures first. So it's not actually interactive with what Jackson said in his last speech, but also extending perm level fine. Either their method is strong enough to resist recognizing Somaliland, in which case upping as the net benefit of testing their method, or that their method isn't strong enough to resist a single policy in the app, which means it definitely cannot survive the real world of a collapse anyway. So no solvency would actually be made. That's also considered the last speech because the prereq itself is not interactive with it. So that's an independent reason why the alt itself doesn't matter. We can just do the substance of the round first, then do that. That also answers co-option. Then go to the K briefly. On the K, we'll extend back that innovations inevitable under the it only can actually work under the capitalistic structure. They just say the majority evidence it feels long term that the ethics is the first thing, but if innovation itself is inevitable in both worlds, and that we'd say that capitalism in the West need to do because the only way to be successful in the future is to stop the genocides and stuff, the bad stuff like climate change they talk about, so it's on that better. But on the stuff about capitalism specifically, we'd say capitalism's on that back is historically it's caused stuff like genocides, for example, in the Soviet Union and China. So what's the framing stuff?
A roll of the ballot.
On the roll of the ballot. This is a roll of ballot becomes first, and just going to reenact all policy. If it gets ballot because it's balanced up right now. One, they don't really need this. That volumes of balanced up right now in their last speech. You shouldn't evaluate, but more importantly, we say that our things are true because roll the ballot in itself is not taking into account what's actually not that bad. And they can still test capitalism under our roll of the ballot. They don't give a reason in the last speech why they can. Then go to theory really fast. No offense off theory, they drop no RBIs because of the chilling effect it has within the base space. That's another reason that they can't gain offense off the CI, and they also extend to drop the Bay Award or properly cross app it. So there's no funds off the theory flow. You're voting extinction first because you can see in the last speech extinction to prerequisite to their argument because if we win the typing debate, that we can't solve capitalism in the long term.
Cool. This is cross. The Tudorino in Cott's evidence that says innovation is inevitable and only good under capitalism. Can you point me to the part that says it's only good under capitalism?
Like
The highlighted part.
It's one, like, you should have, like, said this.
If you have to extend a complete argument, like if the argument was not complete in the first place, then it does not matter whether or not we answer.
Wait, yes, because that's like saying, I technically speaking, a fake argument in a round, right? Evidence can be bad in it. If you don't question the evidence in speech,
Wait,
then that argument can still win the round, technically speaking, on the flow. It's not questioned a single time.
can you just point me to the evidence?
Okay, even then, like.
You can also just
like,
win,
we
we
can just win off like or that's the analytic you really want.
It's still
Also, I
considered.
can just read the line. Okay, let's on the K. The second term is that innovation is always disruptive in any kind of economic system. And it also, but however, it says we have a category of people with material interest in supporting capitalism with values new technology over job stability, even though they are part of the working class. We tell you that the only way that stability actually happens is under a model of capitalism, because everybody has an incentive to do stability, while under communism, everybody thinks that it's another person's problem.
Alright, do you mind if I have a question?
Sure.
Sure. Let's go on to the alt briefly. Give me an example of a revolutionary movement in Africa trying to fight capitalism that's worked.
Burkina Faso, it worked for a long time, and then it was like Thomas Sankara was great, and then they got invaded by a Western nation, which is why our argument says that you can never do, like, the argument says that you can never do that and then go back to capitalist norms,
but
because then you get invaded by the West.
But your arguments, yeah, so your argument's fully based off either like one structure of a political system, not like specific to like countries like China. So if those countries always exist, like China and the US, who are never gonna change, right? If those countries always exist, then that same one applies where they can just be invaded by a capitalist
The alt
structure.
happens here too, because our argument says that we need to reject it in debate.
Yeah, but that
So-
doesn't solve, but then that doesn't solve the real world issue.
No. The counter hedge evidence is excellent on this, and it says that we need to educate people on the ways to fight capitalism within educational
Wait,
spaces
but-
like debate.
But if we, okay, fine, if we give a reason of a capitalistic structure that in the past, anti-capitalistic structure that was trying to fight it, in the past it has failed, which we did in speech, then isn't that sufficient enough to say that like, you're making a broad assumption?
No, one that was new to the Escalante
No,
evidence is
evidence-
excellent on this point, and it
Can I have a question now?
indicates a bunch of stuff.
Okay, I have a question. If you're advocating with your firm that we should do the alt and the affirmative, then how do you outweigh us on timeframe when both teams agree that we need to do the alt first?
Because then, we're just.
No, we
gonna-
do the
yeah.
affirmative first, then the alt.
Yeah,
we asked them- we said you all can have-
verbatim. right
Well,
now.
okay.
Yeah, so you do alt.
Okay, that's
So you can
okay.
check it out for us.
One, we think that we said affirmative, affirmative than the alt, but
Yeah.
even then, this doesn't even matter, because
The
what we,
word-
no,
yeah.
what we tell you is that the impact of the alt happening is the time frame that actually matters.
Yeah.
Because you can delay doing like solving like capitalism for a while, because we're not all extinct yet, despite having lived in a capitalist
Yeah.
society for 2,000 years. But you have but like, yeah.
We have not lived in
Yeah.
capitalism.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
The Roman Empire was capitalist.
Okay. Then
Okay.
Okay, cool. Roll of the ballot. I don't need it. Roll of the ballot and then. Or roll the ballot and make it count.
Okay.
Roll the ballot to vote for the team who best advances the counter-hegemonic struggle within debate. They have conceded that our current policy systems are primed for failure because they just reproduce the same sort of capitalist policymaking, which all of our impact scenarios indicate causes mass violence on a large scale and prevents us from having any way to work out of it. They give you all of these pushes that we are not going to be able to motivate resistance, but our evidence is excellent that if we resist capitalism in every instance in which we see it, we can become more exposed to the way that it exists, and we can find revolutionaries that eventually might exist. This is the first step in a long-term struggle, which is conceded. They tell you that we need to be able to tell, like, that we can also work under their role of the ballot, but our argument is that their sort of primary focus on policymaking is bad in the like long term. But even under the rule of the ballot, we're winning. First is the Morgridge evidence, which indicates that because capitalism views everybody as objects, we can never see ethics within capitalism, which takes out all of their evidence because we don't know whether or not it's ethical to do the app. I know this might not be a decision you want to, but it's completely conceded, which means if we devastate ethics under capitalism, the only option you have to do is to vote nay because it is try or die. The second is the Alhino evidence, which is conceded the entire round and indicates that their sort of the capitalist systems enable things like coups, etc. in Africa by devastating their economies, exploiting their natural resources, which is the reason why there is instability in the Red Sea and Africa in the first place, which means that it is try or die for all alt, and that you should just vote no on presumption anyway because they are unable to do anything if capitalism exists. The innovation stuff does not matter. They conceded the O'Sullivan evidence that indicates green capitalist solutions just do more exploitation of the working class, which is really bad. There are other stuff about genocide is new, and there's stuff about how there's other forms of innovation is not specific. Read the evidence, and our argument says that we would be able to transcend this because we don't have things like IP, etc. The K is really simple. Our argument is that they have done things like endorse a privatized state, say that it needs recognition etc. Capitalism is a bad overall structure because it enables things like war and militarism as people try to exploit new markets and climate change in doing so. Vote nay for a democratic centralist model that can solve back because we're able to motivate resistance. The perms don't matter because they've conceded that when we have people that can come in and co-opt it, that prevents us from getting anything actually done within our system, and everything is a disadvantage.
Okay, we have 5 seconds left. We'll just try using that starting. We'll try it out the app, and then we'll do the videos.
It'll be, case,
Yeah, go
per,
first.
sorry, actually, no, roll of the ballot, case, perms, K,
Okay, fine.
with weighing in between. Is everything good? Extend the role of the ballot. The role of the ballot is for it to vote for the team that creates that best creates pragmatic policy. They tell you that the capitalism just causes more issues, but no, they've conceded that you can create capitalistic, you can deconstruct capitalist structures through policy. It does not matter that it focuses on policy, because even if they win that capitalism is bad, that means that they can still win it under our role of the ballot. It's just less self-serving, and it also allows fighting racism. They tell you that you can't do ethics under the app. No, we tell you that our app role of the ballot tells you how to evaluate whether something is ethical or not by seeing whether it's a pragmatic policy. They also tell you that it causes a bunch of coups and not try or die, but there's no reason why you can't pass policy to prevent all these coups. They tell you that. Okay, let's talk about this innovation term. You can extend it. Innovation will happen inevitably because that's part of human nature, but the only way to make sure it's good is through capitalism, where everybody has an incentive to make sure that it works out well. While in their communist model, it just causes people to just start infighting because they always think that it's somebody else's problem. They tell you that they've read that green cap is bad. This term is not green capitalism. It is saying that innovation might be bad, but capitalism makes it less bad. Okay, let's go into the perms debate. They have conceded that both of the perms and the perm double bind. You should first do the affirmative, then the alt, or do the alt then the affirmative. And the perm double bind tells you that if you can't survive, if the perms don't work, that means that it'll just cause people to that means that it won't work in either world, because there will always be policies passed. At that point, extend case. Israel to solve parity and peace, violence, and really cause great power and do resources essential for security, escalation, complementary, great powers, use powers of nuclear and conventional and military powers of weight. That's the extinction of try or die, and also the best time for this perceptual while they're all taking way too long to actually happen.
Go, guys.
You're on.
Jackson, clear him.
You're on.
Yeah, he told me just to close the computer and bring it back to him, so I'll do that.